I'm pretty sure I don't need to do any weird rituals now. I don't need to do any pre-recording rituals. I wonder, is that because I've really let the pressure go off from performance? Is it that I just want to come here and I just want to do this simple thing and just be in this delusion that, oh, it's never really going to hit up? Or is it rather because I'm just getting adapted to it? But it does feel like a coping mechanism to me, that I just come on front of camera every day and I don't really have a script. I'm just sitting here and I'm just speaking whatever comes to my mind. I don't even have any uh, united message that I'm trying to pass through all of these videos. I'm just making it so that I come here and I speak. But I think this has become sort of a coping mechanism now. I'm not really putting any effort into it. If I really, in my psyche, there's this thing that I just accept that, okay, nobody's ever going to watch this. How am I going to put in that performance? How is it going to be that I'm going to absolutely speak to you, speak to your heart, speak to what the potential person that's watching the videos I have? How is he or she going to connect to it? What is the ideal customer profile that I want? What is the kind of audience that I'm expecting? Who is it that I'm hoping to improve the lives of? I'm not focusing on that. I'm just making this in sort of a fun hobby where I'm just doing it. I'm just enjoying it. I don't really have any structure, and that is not entirely something that I want to fall into a trap of. So I'm going to have a rough framework, a rough script. I should ideally, but I do not really have a script. I just come and sit here. That's what I've been doing for the last few weeks, more than 2 weeks now, and I just speak unfiltered. There really is nothing. Like I'm not, there's no concealing here. I'm just being as open and frank as I can, because I frankly think I have way too many ideas and I don't know how to organize them. I don't know how to structure them so as to effectively get it out to the people, because there's lots of ideas I've thought. What does this all mean? You need to choose one thing and you need to stick to it. Why is that? Just because of the enormous amount of ideas we think of on a daily basis. How many of them really stick? How many of them really make a difference to us? How many of them change our lives on a day-to-day basis? How many of you would say that, oh, I actually remember this idea that I had on this so and so date on this so and so time? You don't. That's what it is like. That's what life is like. You're going to go through lots and lots of experiences. You are going to have to stick to one thing. And no, I'm not by any means asking you to stop having different and diverse experiences. I'm asking you to stick to one goddamn thing first before you can start getting into the vast realms of what the universe has to offer. First of all, you need to start with something in that specific place, and this applies to every little thing. This applies to careers. Just before you, how often is it that you see that someone started this way, they did this, they did that, they did Y, and all of that is correlated? Is it that they started that way? Is that the path that they took? Is that what got them success, or is it that they just followed their heart and eventually things started to get in synchronicity? But we mistake it. We look at it and we try to replicate that path these days. Like, if he has done so and so and this is the roadmap, I want that exact roadmap and I want to follow that roadmap. That is a mistake, and that is the trap that I fell into as well many times. And The only simple solution to that is to try things yourself, is to do them in every sphere that you can possibly think of. You need to explore, you need to get out there. This might seem like a very generic message, but this is a major problem in our day and age. We are just busy scrolling on our phones, and there's so many reels that there's a whole cosmos of reels out here, brain rot out here. What is it that we do? What is it that we're being conditioned to do? Which is scroll. I want you to shift from this short attention span, which is absolutely something that has to do with the kind of content that you're consuming. I want you to move from that and shift over to the long form content. I want you to improve your attention span, and for that you must learn to choose, you must learn to decide. Decision takes power. Decision is where half of the journey begins. You need to decide, and you need to actually do stuff. Right now you're not doing stuff. I see so many Reddit posts, people asking just the complete roadmap to stuff. If I do this, what is the roadmap to this? Go try it. I'm not out here saying that you don't need to have even a general idea, but you don't need to get into too many details. You are absolutely going to overthink if you try to get into the nitty gritty details at the start. You need to just begin and see how it goes. I did not have a script before I started this video, yet I'm speaking, and now as you listen to it, you are going to start to make some sense of it. My message is going to become clear to you as you listen to it. If you're still watching, you need to stick to one thing. I fell into this trap, and I have done this a lot with my career. I tried to, or I thought that I could do this, I could do that. I thought in terms not of what I enjoyed, but in terms of what could get me more material gains. It really did not work, because neither did I perfect or like improve at X or Y, because I was constantly switching between both of those things. Now, while I would not call that a bad thing, because in that process I learned a lot of valuable things, but that's not what majority of the people listening to me are going to do. They are not going to know how to quit. They are not going to know when what is enough. I luckily had the privilege to quit, and as I did, I got more and more synchronized towards the kind of goal that I really have, which is to speak, which is to be on YouTube. I just naturally enjoy this. This is like a natural environment to me. I don't have to fake a persona. I'm not faking anything right here. Well, yeah, maybe there's some faking, because I'm effectively putting on a character as I come in front of camera every day. But you need to stick to one thing, and I am repeating this again and again because I want to drill the message and get it in your head through this video. I did not stick to one thing. I did not, to me, it was like, oh, I have all of these options, and I was in this analysis paralysis, and that really cost me. It was what cost me. It was what you could define in terms of opportunity cost and sunk cost fallacy. Sunk cost fallacy, because I was not willing to get out of that thing if I had spent some amount of time and my financial resources into that. Opportunity cost, because every minute that I spent on that was a minute that I was taking away from something where I could actually contribute to, something that I would actually build for, something that I would actually be much better at with much lesser effort, and as a result I would just compound my effort over time, and I missed out on all of that. And that is exactly what will happen, and not just in one sphere. This is just one story, this is just my story, but this is what will happen in different spheres. Luckily for me, I this is not the kind of behavior I had in different spheres. In my fitness, I was never someone who over analyzed. I just started to go to the gym one day, just one fine day. I decided that yes, this is something that I want to have as part of my life. I need to be fit, and I've just gone and put in the reps, and I've eventually gotten better over time. And I'm not saying that I'm completely consistent and I am all jacked, but I'm not I was much worse off. I was like 95 kgs at some point, and all of that changed because I decided to take action. I decided to stick to things. I came across a plan which was on YouTube, by the way, and I decided to stick to one plan, and I stuck to it for more than a year, and it started to give me results. It gave me enormous results, and I never perfected it. There's still so much more to that plan. That is something that should give you an idea of how enormous the kind of things that we experience every day are. There's so many layers to it, and every time we just choose to not take a decision, we choose to just be indecisive, we are doing injustice to ourselves and our society and the world, because we're not trying, we're not really putting in the effort. We want everything served to us on our platter. And I'm not preaching, this is something that I learned the hard way. This is something that happened to me. I'm 24 now, and there's so many things that I could have been so much better at by now, like speaking. Like you can see, just being on YouTube, if I started much earlier, I'd be at a much better and well prepped place now. And even if I was not technically meant for this X or Y thing, let's say I was not meant for YouTube, I was not meant to be talking, to speaking, if this is not my skill, I would have found out much earlier, and then I would have transitioned into the different things. And this goes for relationships too. A lot of time we'll just decide, we'll just be stuck in indecisiveness actually, that do I do this, we microanalyze things. Instead, why don't we just take the first step and see how it all works out? Why are we so scared? This is fear-based decision making, and that is not going to get you anywhere in the world. You need to take risks. You need to learn to stick to one thing. That is something that comes from a position of power, and that's not necessarily something physical. It's something mental. It's all psych game. It's all the psychology game. In your mind, you need to have the power to make decision and stick through with it. This is what all leadership books tell you. This is what self-improvement is about. You don't just choose one thing and then you fall, or you quit it and you're like, okay, this did not work, I'm just gonna give up. Now this is very generic, but you get the point, the damn point that I've been trying to make, that you need to stick to one thing. And this is something that relates absolutely to the doom scrolling behavior that we see the kids in this generation have, which is something that is also a result of conditioning. We are so much into scrolling. There's so many reels to watch. What are we really going to lose if we skip from one reel to the other? We don't want to stick with one long form video. We want to watch several short reels, which are going to give us information, all right, but they're going to give us little bits. None of that is applicable in a unity. You're not smarter for that. You're going to forget about it. The same goes for knowledge. I want to try this, I want to learn this. Stick to one thing. This is something that I'm very much guilty of. At the start of the year, I decided a list of philosophers that I wanted to study. I've actually stuck to them, but time and again, there's this tendency. It's been drilled so much into my brain thanks to the conditioning. I'm not out here blaming or having this victim mentality, but this is something that's just how we are. We like having options, but in the process of having options, we absolutely scrutinize ourselves, because we never stick to one thing. When you stick to one thing, you learn, you find out, and then you move. You're moving with experience. But when you just skim over it, when you just scroll over it for a few seconds, you're not really learning from it. You're not really leaving any impact. Learn to stick to one damn thing. And if you want more about this, if you want content like this, if you want me to expand on how you can apply this concept in your scrolling habits, I want you to like and subscribe, because there'll be a lot more coming. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.